Radio Berkshire, 6 minutes past 7. Good morning, welcome to the weekend. Well, it's all about the build-up this weekend. Promotion for Reading on Monday could see 60 million quid's worth of extra exposure and investment, and that's for the town, in addition to the 90 million that would boost the club's finances. Well, the figures come just 2 days before Reading take on Swansea at Wembley on Monday afternoon for a place in the most lucrative football league in the world. Professor Tom Cannon, a football finance expert from the University of Liverpool, said it's not just the club who could benefit.
There's been quite a lot of research recently, particularly on new entrants, of course. With Reading having been in the Premiership recently, it's not quite the same. But there's been quite a lot of research into the achievements of Burnley, Blackpool, Hull and clubs like that. And what we've seen is, in terms of global profile, in terms of the ability of local businesses to project themselves, and of course in terms of Reading, the ability of the club to generate interest in acquiring the club. So you're talking about a massive boost to the city or the town's global profile, and of course if the local business community, as they did in Hull, build on that, then the potential for jobs, etc., is enormous. It varies obviously between cities, but some of the people in Hull were estimating that even Hull managed to generate an extra 30 to 40 million. Blackpool was a lot more open to debate, because clearly in Blackpool as a tourist centre, the figures there were more like 60 or 70 million. And of course with Reading being on the famous Heathrow corridor, then certainly in terms of global profile, I think you'd be talking about figures comparable with those of Hull and Blackpool, and probably slightly higher than Blackpool. So I think you're talking 50 or 60 million.
Well, Tom Markham is a mature PhD student at the Henley Business School, and some of his work specialises in football finance. He joins us this morning from Reading Town Centre. So this could be huge, not just for the footy club, Tom.
Yes, good morning, Nikki. Definitely, the football club, you mentioned the 90 million figure, and that's a minimum we're actually talking, and it's probably 42 million of that will be improved revenue, mostly based around the media from the Premier League. And then obviously in the worst case scenario it would be 48 million from parachute payments on relegation, but we're obviously hoping that doesn't happen.
Now let's not even talk about that. We're just refusing to go down that road this morning, Tom. What about the town? Where would increased revenue for the town come from?
Well, close to home, I've seen, speaking up in the university, that obviously the global profile is, as Professor Cannon mentioned, actually a good friend of mine, obviously that attracts more students to the university and obviously the local economy. Then we see sports related business, the likes of Mizuno, obviously based in the town, or different sportswear manufacturers because of the location and proximity to London. And then what you mentioned, Tom wasn't sure whether Reading was a town or a city there, but obviously we know that they've applied for city status over the last couple of days, so surely that would have some sort of unofficial influence on that as well.
Yeah, a lot of people trying Reading City Football Club, just rolling it off the tongue. Here's hoping. Hey, Reading's got a reputation these days for being full of hotels. Sadly, the hotels haven't got a reputation for being full. I suppose things like that could change if we went up to the Premiership.
Most definitely. I just did a quick talk earlier on, and 14 of the Premier League clubs are sort of from Birmingham on above, so that's over 100 miles away. And if you look at the away capacity of the stadium, it's 4,350. So, and I think they got an average. I had a quick chat with Pat Coyne, the commercial director of Reading, yesterday, and basically they had an average of 1,000 at away games last season. So that could be 55,000 fans that need to stay in the general Reading area. So as you said, you'd imagine that the hotel room capacity would definitely be improved at the weekends.
We've talked a lot about the money that's going to come in, but if Reading make it to the Premiership, then some money's going to have to leave a pocket somewhere, because investment's going to be required, isn't it, in terms of the club?
Definitely. We've seen sort of a couple of clubs go down a different strategy over the last, say, 2 seasons. I'm thinking of Burnley and Blackpool, who had sort of wage caps of 10,000 and 15,000 respectively, but both clubs unfortunately managed to get relegated. So you do need to outlay like decent players. Obviously, they cost quite a bit in terms of a transfer fee and wages.
That's 10 to 15 grand a week, is it?
Exactly. Sorry. Yes.
Smokes. Yeah. Just want to be absolutely clear, because some people might have thought that was perfectly feasible for a year's salary, but no, that is a week. Good. I'm glad they capped it at that. But that just gives an idea of the kind of terms we're talking, doesn't it? I mean, can Reading sustain life in the Premiership is the big question.
Well, the stats are on their sides. If you look at, say, the last 10 seasons in the Premier League, out of the 30 clubs that got relegated, out of the 30 clubs that got promoted, 17 of them managed to stay in the Premier League, so more than half. And obviously Reading, the last time they were promoted, were in that situation as well. So I think a lot of times when clubs do get promoted, they're on a high, they manage to sort of carry that momentum and invariably stay in the big league.
Well, I don't think we should jump the gun anymore. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning from Reading Town Centre, Tom Markham. Of course...